in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving higher, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving higher.
Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Market Roundup with Chip Nellinger. Chip, man, looks like the last half of the week there wasn't a whole lot of good news that came out. Sounds like China decided they're kind of over the whole trade talk thing for a little while. They're not going to come back to the table. Harvest lulls have kind of got the market in a bit of a downward spiral. So what's your take on all that, and where do you see stuff headed for the first part of the week?
Yeah, we had a really ugly close for the week in beans especially, but corn as well. And any news we did have just was no good. So that didn't help. So we had the weather clearing out, harvest getting back, picked up pace a little bit. A lot of guys here in the Eastern Corn Belt, a lot of guys finishing up on corn. We were able to get, 3 or 4 days of running in beans. Export sales Thursday were horrific. China's canceled net like at least 300,000 tons of beans this past week. So that was taken as, negative. Like you mentioned, China kind of put some news out that they're done, with trade talks, although there really weren't any going on. I don't know if that was just political or jawboning, but the market didn't take that very well. So beans really got beat up there late in the week. Put our highs in for the week actually on Monday. Might have even been last Sunday night or the overnight, and just sold off from there. So we ended up, I think, about 40 cents off the highs in beans for the week last week, and that drug corn with it. The good news is we should be getting to some support here, particularly in the low to mid 360s in December corn, which is where we're at. Unfortunately, though, beans did not close very well technically. If you just throw anything about the fundamentals away and look at the charts, beans would have some more downside here. Unfortunately, it closed under a trend line. Not a real good technical performance in beans, and you would think that they could have a little more selling pressure to start the week. We're pretty stable here in the overnights, kind of fractionally either side of unchanged. So there's not been a lot of news, to affect things at least over the weekend, and we'll see where we go here to start the week. But not a real good performance last week, and they would just logically think that they've got some more selling pressure, especially in beans, to hit that market here in the first half of the new week. What's ahead? Well, the problem is we've got a lot of beans left in the field and a fair amount of corn. So harvest is ongoing. That's going to pressure things. November, I believe it's the 8th, is the November crop report, so that's still a couple weeks away. And between now and then, no news is bad news. And as harvest advances, it'll continue to weigh on things a little bit. Bright spot maybe is wheat. At least is not going anywhere. It did close a little bit lower on the week, but not a huge deal. And that's just been going sideways for going on 4 months now. So it's kind of building a base. That's what you like to see. It's just not ready to go too far in any direction right now. But it probably has as good a chance as anything here after, you close for winter and get grain harvest wrapped up. There's been some issues around the world in wheat production. Australia is still dry, and we're not having the best run of it here either, with as wet a weather as that has been, and harvest slow to pick up steam, and so we're kind of closing the window for wheat planting, and that could be a little bit supported. So wish I had better news, but probably going to be steady to a touch lower in the case of beans to start the week, and awaiting some additional news. Now, we are hearing talk from producers as they get back in the field, then on beans especially, because after a 2+ week rain delay, bean yields at least 2, if not 5 bushels lower than when they were cutting beans prior to the rains. Some quality issues as well. And I think we've probably taken the top end off of corn. Some of this corn's getting really dry, coming out at 15, 16, 17%. So that takes a little bit of the yield potential away. Still good, but my point is on this November report coming out here in a couple weeks, you still could have a tendency for the USDA to cut things just slightly in both corn and maybe even beans here, based on the weather delays and wet weather. So we'll wait and see. That's still a ways away, and until then, harvest is not the time of year where typically you have big rallies. So we may just be kind of sloppy sideways, touch lower here for 10 days till we get ready for that November crop report.
Right. Do you feel like the bulk of the market's kind of hesitation to do a lot with upward movement has to do with more with the weather or more with the China news?
Well, you're asking about potential upside going forward?
Yeah.
I think weather. There's still a pretty strong historical tendency when after the USDA goes up in corn yields in August and September, and then down in October, they usually don't go back up, in November, or for that matter, by the January crop report. So there's still a historical tendency for the USDA to cut corn yields now that they went back lower in October. And I think this weather, there's some forecasts that are hinting at a little bit of a rainy pattern starting here in the last week in October, first week in November. So there's still a tremendous amount of corn and beans left in the field in the Western Corn Belt, and more wet weather will undoubtedly start supporting the market if we see that. So, but China is a big deal too, and I don't know when that G20 summit is. I think it's sometime in November, but there's supposed to be some potential talks there ahead of that or during that meeting, but that's still several weeks off. So both those could definitely affect the markets, ongoing weather delays or any type of China news, but we'll see if we get those. We've been waiting for China news for, it seems like, too long now. We just don't seem to get anything.
Yeah, it's the you kind of almost forget about it sometimes. It's just you get some crazy little news blip, and then 2 hours later, it's complete opposite of what you heard. So it's hard to put stock in that.
I know. It's crazy. You almost wonder if it's not strategic, but it has quieted down a little bit. You hope in the back of your head that there's some level of talks going on behind the scenes. There's not a lot of news that's been out there the last couple of weeks on that front. So, hopefully there is some behind the scenes, under the radar type talking going on at a high level to try to get this thing figured out. But it doesn't look, super optimistic in the short run that there's going to be a resolution to it.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the cattle market. The alert I got at the end of the week, it looked like cattle might have been down just a little bit, but overall they had a pretty good week, it looked like.
Yeah, cattle a little bit low. We had a cattle on feed report Friday after the close, and there's I think 8 in a row. Don't quote me on that. I think 8 months in a row on cattle on feed reports, showing all-time record high numbers of cattle on feed. This time, however, finally, you knew what happened eventually. Those numbers were a little bit lower. Some of the placement numbers may have been potentially weather related because of the wet weather. But irregardless of that, it was a little bit supportive compared to expectations. Cash market was a little bit disappointing, kind of steady-ish at best. So the futures didn't hold up very well last week. But I think this cattle on feed report should be enough to give us a nice bounce earlier in the week. The hog market was pretty ugly last week. I don't have a real reason for that. We lost some ground. Cutout values, kind of imploded, and that didn't help us. So we had some liquidation in the hog market and a down week there. Lower in the cattle as well, but not dramatically so. And I think this cattle on feed report will at least stabilize cattle, if not give us a nice little bounce to start the week. And maybe even lead to some higher cash trade, which could build on itself and give us a nice rally here in cattle. We'll have to see how the market reacts. Sometimes it doesn't react as logically as you think it would. You have negative cattle on feed reports, and you think, oh no, the market's going to be limited down into rallies. Same could be true here, right? It was friendly. It doesn't mean we're going to be higher, but it wasn't. Something that was just blow the doors off negative. So that's a good sign. First time in a long, long time that's happened. Many, many months, better part of a year actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chip. Well, like always, tons of stuff going on, and don't really know what things are going to head right now with the volatility that we have in the marketplace. So, guys want to work on a plan or have a plan they want to talk about with you. How would they do that?
Well, you hit the nail on the head. It is important, even here during harvest, when it's busy, to have a marketing plan, have it front and center. So, easiest way, just get a hold of us at our office, 309-550-7213, and we'd love to chat with you.
Right on, Chip. All right, Chip. Well, looks like we'll talk to you again on Wednesday. Until then, have the first good half of the week, and we'll talk to you then.
Sounds good. You do the same. We'll talk Wednesday.
All right, thanks, buddy.
All right, thanks.
Moving higher in the 21st century. Hardworking people working hard for you and me. Moving higher, time and time again. Through the years, you'll find us here.